Okay, we're ready to get started. We'd like to once again thank Nick Red and the Caterpillar team for sponsoring this event tonight. So let's everybody give them a round of applause. Thank you. The luncheon was great. I'm proud to be here and able to present this award today. As a former inductee myself, I truly understand how these individuals play a tremendous role in advancing the AEMP mission and the stature of the equipment management profession and also the heavy equipment industry. Some weren't supposed to advance, huh? There it did. It's not advancing where it's supposed to, though. We'll try to reverse it. There it is. On the screen behind me, you'll see the previous AEMP Hall of Fame inductees. These individuals have all demonstrated contributions advancing the art and science of the asset management. Their work has also improved the image of the equipment manager, positioning them as a pivotal part of the success of their companies and the industry as a whole. AEMP Hall of Fame inductees have helped to improve the image of our industry as a career choice and act as champions for the equipment management professionals. Please join me in recognizing their contributions to our industry and to our association. Hall of Fame nominations were submitted to the AEMP staff and then scored by the awards committee. Nominators were asked to answer the following questions about their nominee. How has the person improved the skills of our equipment managers? How has the person advanced the equipment management image? How have they advanced the equipment management industry? How have they advanced the AEMP mission? It was clear from these submissions how deserving our 2019 inductee is. I am proud to be able to honor Tim Morgan as the 2019 Hall of Fame inductee. Tim is very deserving of this award. He has been tireless in his efforts to improve the management, teach his people, and also he's a dear friend. In the moment, I will invite Steve Riddle, who nominated Tim, to say a few words. Before that, I want to point out a few of the things from Tim's nomination that caught my eye. First, Tim has personally tutored over 50 equipment management professionals. That number alone should tell us how Tim has improved the skills of all equipment managers. Steve describes Tim as a servant leader who provides an equipment management image we would all be proud of. He also notes that through his association with AEMP, Tim has implemented technology programs at Branch, moving them from a paper-based system to a paper-free system. Tim has served 2 terms with the AEMP Board of Directors, sat on various and numerous committees, and helped develop the telematics standard. I would now like to ask Steve Riddle to come forward to the stage to tell us why Tim is deserving of this honor in his own words. Steve.
Thank you, Bob. Good afternoon, everyone. I know Bob just touched on the criteria that the organization looks for and the questions that were asked in this nomination process. And I know he touched on a few of the items that I had added in there. And yes, the servant leadership is one of the big things that Tim has brought to our entire team. You know, it's not about us, it's about everyone else. We work for everybody in our team. One of the biggest things is, you know, as he said, how did the nominee advance the equipment manager image? You know, Tim came from humble beginnings, growing up on a dairy farm. He graduated from Nashville Diesel College, while working nights for a truck manufacturer and raising a family. He's a very dedicated individual, determined, and he's gone from that to, when he came to work for Branch, he's worked as a heavy equipment field mechanic, an equipment inspector, a general foreman, and now he's our equipment operations manager. He is responsible for 52 personnel, $73 million worth of equipment, supporting a $500 million group of companies. He advocates for his personnel both professionally and personally from an intellectual perspective. He ensures his operation is an agile learning organization and more than turning wrenches. He works at and successfully dispels the myth that those involved with the heavy equipment operation are minimally educated, crusty mechanics. He is an avid reader and a student of all aspects of leadership and technology. He shares this with his team and is found continually in conversations with one of his mechanics about the latest book they have read and the knowledge that they have gained from that. And I will skip over because they did give me a time limit, some of the other criteria that was asked for, and I will share some items with you that you may or may not know about Tim. Within the company, Tim has been a really big advocate of helping the local schools with displays and talks. There's been an outreach with a special needs school that reaches out and is teaching technician training to troubled youth. He's been able to donate one of our company vehicles, some of our tooling, and we do all we can to support that program. We've brought them by our shop, let them tour, see what it's like to actually work in a facility like this. Tim is a certified master scuba diver instructor and has traveled the world diving. And he loves sharing his talent with others. Tim's got his airplane license. He's private. He's part of the Airplane Owner and Pilots Association, private pilot's license. And if you tell him you want to go flying, let's go. Before I met Tim, I was working in the field for our facility, and I'd stop by the shop one day, and everybody said, "Have you worked with the guy with the dog?" I said, "Y'all just jerking my chain. I'm the new guy. Who's going to show up with the dog?" Not long after that, I was asked to show up on a job site to help some of the guys that were stationed there. Pulled up on the job site. It wasn't hard to tell who Tim was. There was a dog, little blue heeler named Betsy, following him everywhere he went. Sweetest little thing. She'd be by his side no matter what we did, or she'd be by your side if you was offering rubs or some of your lunch. It was quite an experience to be working on. I don't even remember what we were working on as far as it was. I know it was a D8. What repair was being made, not sure. And you look up and you see a little blue heeler sitting in the driver's seat or operator's seat, supervising everything that was going on. It's a neat experience. And I'm sure most everyone has encountered someone throughout their life who has inspired them, challenged them, educated them. A family member, a teacher, coworker. And these encounters are rare but a valuable commodity. Take advantage of every moment that you get to spend with someone like this. There's a few descriptives that I would like to use for Tim. Very humble, dedicated. He's a mentor. He's determined, very knowledgeable, a servant leader, and I'm honored to be able to call him a friend. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. It's clear from your nomination that Tim truly captures what it means to be in the AEMP Hall of Fame. Tim, please come up and let's receive your award.
Thank you. I'm very, very humbled and very honored to accept this award. Thank you for the kind words, Steve. I would also like to thank everybody who had a part of this. Emily Peterson, I think if she's in here, thank you very much. I know she had a hard time herding all of us cats together for this, so thank you very much. Thank you to the association for this great award. Just a little bit of history real quick. I did graduate from diesel school in 1977. Pulled wrenches for about 25 years. Had a gentleman who was actually in the first CEM class that AEMP did, invited me into the shop to join the management team as a foreman. And then soon after that, he said, "You're going to be part of CEM." So I'm over 40 years old at that time, thinking, well, okay, I guess I can go back to school. It's okay. So I came to my first AEMP meeting, and I met a man named Stan Orr. And a man of very humble integrity who was very passionate about this industry. And I said, there's a man I can follow. There's a man I want to learn from. So I kept coming back. Earned my CEM in 2005, just kept coming back, showing up, learning what I could from people who knew what I wanted to know. And you become what you associate with, and there's no better place to associate with great people than this organization. So I kept coming back. Year after year, coming back, taking what I could, learning what I could. And then I met a man named Bob Merritt, another very humble man of integrity who had a passion for servant leadership and giving back to the organization, giving back to the industry that we're all in. And he asked me to be on his board of directors. So I got involved at a little higher level in the organization and just kept coming back and taking what I could, taking what I needed, giving what I could. And if I had any advice for any of the younger folks here, or some advice for some of us dinosaurs that we can take back to some of our young people, is just show up. Show up, take what you need, give what you can, learn what you need to learn about the iron, learn what you need to learn about the dollars. But we all know that that's the easiest part of our job. The most important thing you can do is learn about people. Learn what it takes to manage people. Surround yourself with people who are better than you. Surround yourself with people who know more than you do. And then do what you need to do to learn to be a servant leader. Learn to lead them with a servant's heart, and you'll have a very long, very rewarding, and very satisfying career in the equipment industry. So thank you again for this award. I'm very humbled and very honored. Thank you.
Once again, thanks, Tim. You're very deserving of this award. At this time, I'd like to invite Greg Pete to the stage to say a few final words as the chairman of the AEMP. Greg?
Good afternoon. I hope you're thoroughly enjoying yourselves. I hope you're gathering that nugget you're going to take away from here. I just got mine, Tim. I just got, you become what you associate with. Didn't write anything, didn't prepare anything for this. Going to keep it real brief. My time as chairman has come to a close, and it's time to bring the new chairman up. But Tim, I want to congratulate you on your Hall of Fame award, and I want to thank you for that nugget that I can take away, because that's really how I feel about this. There are all kinds of people to thank, like Tim. I'd like to thank Stan and Cindy Orr. I'd like to thank the board of directors for having, and the membership for having the confidence in me to allow me to lead this organization over the last year. I want to thank the executive committee in particular for functioning as the transition team and assisting with this whole transition process. As I told you yesterday morning, I guess, that it has just gone amazingly well, and I couldn't be more pleased, couldn't be more proud. One thing that I'm really pleased about is how we will continue to move forward. Talked to several people over the last day or so about how short this is, this year of being chairman of the board. And you've got lofty goals, but at the end of the day, you've got 365 days to get it done. And the beauty of it is, though, that we have an incoming chairman that he and I think we think a lot alike. I don't think either of us get too rattled. I think we both have our eye on the prize, and we'll keep this thing going forward. So I'm very comfortable with the hands that I'm leaving this in with Mason Ford. So again, I want to thank everybody who is here today. As Tim said, you need to get involved. I think I said that this morning. I've said it to committees. I've said it to all kinds of people. Become a part of this association, to blend in, to be really assimilated into the group. You need to become part of a committee. Work your way up to a co-chair. Now you're a chairman. You have a reason to be here. People to talk to, something you belong to that's bigger than yourself. You're going to lift the industry up by what you do, by your actions, by what you can put forth. So again, thank you to everyone who gave me the opportunity to assume this position over the last year. Thanks for making it so easy and seamless for me. Mason, I'd like to invite you up here right now. I'm not quite done talking, but you've got to come up now anyway. On the screen a few moments ago, you saw 3 photos, one of which was of Bob Merritt. Another one on the other end was of Dale Warner. Last year at the Hall of Fame luncheon, I got to sit next to Dale Warner up here, and I think I spoke right after him. But he gave me something. I don't know, for those of you who are here, do you remember this piece of rope? I've kept this piece of rope. It's the same piece of rope, I promise. This piece of rope has been sitting on my nightstand right next to my bed. It doesn't do anything, it just sits there. But it reminds me of what Dale had to say. You're not going to be able to see this, but if I were to try and push that piece of rope, it's not going anywhere, right? Piece of rope, it won't push. But if you cast a vision of where you want to go, and you gather good people around you, and you listen to what's going on, all of a sudden, you can pull them along with you. And that's what has been so special to me, is that you've all gone along with me on the ride for the last year. I'm going to give up this piece of rope that sat on my nightstand, and we'll see where Mason would like to, what he'd like to do with it next. But again, I leave you in great hands with Mason Ford. I thank you for everything that you've done for me as chairman, and I present this piece of rope to Mason.
Thank you, Greg. Am I speaking loud enough into the mic back there? Okay. Appreciate the rope. Want to congratulate Tim. That's enormous. I'm actually going to, I think, talk a little bit about you later here. Appreciate all the great words and encouragement, and your belief in this association. Truly deserving of that award. I've only got a few minutes, I think. Actually, we're ahead of schedule. I'm going to take a few minutes. I'm going to go off script a little bit and talk a little bit. I don't have a lot of things on my agenda. I really want to make sure that the membership gets to know me a little bit, has some faith in me and my skills and experience, and then has a vision of the future to hopefully pull you through with this rope. It's interesting you drop a rope on me. I'm a pusher, and I know a lot of the people that know me and work with me, I'm more of a pusher than a puller. We usually throw a dart way into the future and then push through it, and hopefully that works here. I'm confident we have a good program in place and some great leadership, board members and staff members to keep this thing on the rails as we move forward through 2019 and 2020. Excuse me for a moment here. I'm thumbing through a script. I'm not great with scripts, but I can do this. I just want to thank Greg for outstanding leadership in 2018 and 2019. As the AEMP chairman of the board, you set the bar extremely high, and I hope to continue the high level of leadership that you and so many chairmen before me have exhibited. This is the beginning of a new year right now. We're just getting this thing running, 365 days to go. There is another session later. If we don't get everything covered, you have questions for us, we will be meeting at 4:45 for a question and answer period. My goal of this moment right now is just to connect with you and help you connect with AEMP, with the spirit of the conference, connect. Truly humbled and extremely grateful for this opportunity to serve. I love what Tim said regarding being a servant. That's really the way I live. I'm glad that others do that as well. This organization is near and dear to me. It's helped me to change my life, and that's really a comment I'd make. I think it holds a special place in my heart. And is Doug King here? There he is. Earlier, Doug mentioned something, and it really set in with me. And I think I believe this organization holds a special place in everybody's heart here. It's a special place. It's unique in the industry, and it's unique to us individually. And I'd try and tell you exactly why it is so special, but I don't think I have to. I think it's somewhat what Doug said, and I'm paraphrasing. It is because I say it is. And that's important to me, and I think to everybody in the room. It's similar to a song. It's tough to find the exact meaning. So for everybody in the room, I guess I kind of ask a question. You don't have to answer it out loud, but ask you to look at the association and ask yourself that question. Why is it special to me? Know that answer. Ask yourself. We all know it's special, but why? And that hopefully becomes the reason you keep coming back. Tim said it earlier. It was super valuable. He kept coming back, and me too. And that's really part of how I got involved in leadership and really became part of this organization. Strictly, if you're new or relatively new, paying your dues and showing up is one way to join, but to truly join this organization, reach out to a committee member, pick up the phone, call the staff, show up a day early for the meeting, and get involved in the committee. And I promise you, you will be you will have joined the membership. Something to reflect on. We talk a lot about the year ahead. We hear everybody talk about growth and change and adapting and all of these things we talk about. It's also important to just stop for a minute and think about where this organization is. It's in really good shape. It's a very powerful, meaningful, well-attended, I'm going to say well-oiled machine as it is right now. change has become mandatory in organizations. As we all know, we all feel change is just part of the standard protocols these days, and we have to continue to change this organization just to stay relevant. In 2019, that's a big part of what we will do. We will focus our effort in a strategic plan. I'm not running over. A little bit about me, just real quickly. I'm 50 years old. I've been in this business for about 30 years, roughly. I've been involved in AEMP for 15 years. I earned my CEM in 2006 and 7. For people who are relatively new, some of the things that makes my involvement in this organization possible, I have a fantastic wife, Holly, who's right here. She supports me and my desire to do this. She really pays the price for my involvement here. It takes time, as Tim and Greg and probably everybody else who's still on the stage knows and has explained. It takes time. I work for a great company. Skanska supports me. They support development. They support industry involvement. They are aligned with AEMP's mission. And let's see, that's important. That didn't happen on its own. I just put the mission up there. I don't think we see this enough day to day. That's the mission of this organization on the board there, is building excellence in equipment management. Additionally, things that make this place possible for me or make my involvement is, I'm going to say the Skanska team, but the Skanska, the SGL team, a lot of folks are in this room. We have a great group of people who really manage the day-to-day and month-to-month activities and keep us moving in a direction. We have professional people, as most of the people in organizations in this room do. And those didn't happen necessarily on their own. A lot of those happened as a result of our involvement in AEMP over a period of time. And if you're going back to your organization and maybe they don't support you yet, or you don't have a lot of professional people behind you, keep coming back. Keep coming back. This is a spot where you can learn how to teach your CEO what the involvement brings to the organization. And so the key item, though, is to keep coming back. Must be present to win, I think, is the right term. So in prepping for this little talk, I read through Greg had a speech written last year. Greg is a unique guy. I've had a lot of mentors and a lot of people that have led me. I've had a lot of bosses, a lot of very good people, a lot of very good, call it examples. I want to point out a couple things with Greg that I really picked up this year that are important to me. And not only did he have a good year, let's say he had a good year, there was one thing on his in his objectives for 2018, 2019, and it was transition. And I think we'll talk a little more about transition later today, but the transition happened, not entirely because of Greg, but certainly because he was there leading it. It happened without a hitch and is actually probably better than we would have expected. He was able to pull that off and bring Dante in to, I'm going to say replace Stan, but to take Stan's position and move forward. Stan and Cindy and the whole organization had a lot to do with it, but Greg really eased that through on a regular basis, and I appreciate that. Things that I do appreciate about him and his character, though, is he's one of these people who comes up to you and doesn't matter if he's mad, if he's happy, he comes up and he speaks with me, and I'm sure he does with everybody else, in a very respectful manner. He thinks before he speaks. He's a preparation guy. He's prepared all the time. And I really appreciate that, and I thank you for showing me an example of that and how it's really applied right here in this position. As we begin to wind down this annual meeting, I want to compliment Greg, as I said there, and acknowledge I'm certain the new transition and management company, AEMP, is doing a great job and has the best interests of AEMP and the core of AEMP embodied. Greg joins a long list of chairmen who've helped this organization fulfill the mission of building excellence in equipment management. So with that, there are a number of former chairmen in the room. There's some that aren't here. I'm going to go ahead and read the names. I appreciate if you're here, you'd stand up, and we'd hold the applause till the end, but let's go ahead and acknowledge these men for their contribution. I have Michael Bates, Richard Brannigan, Ken Burke, Guy Gordon, Ronald Hutchinson, Greg Kittle, John Meese, Bob Merritt, Dale Warner, Darrell Creer, Thad Pirtle, Bob Decker, Dave Gorski, and of course, Greg Pete. Let's give these guys a round of applause. Thank you. So in the coming year, I'm just looking forward to repositioning the organization for exponential future growth with a new strategic plan and renewed focus on things that will impact our industry in the years to come. All right, we're doing okay on time? All right. So the road ahead will not be created alone. This is very important. We want membership involvement. We're going to build this strategic plan between the June meeting and October meeting. We're going to build a plan that that Mr. Bolderoff, who's following me here, can take and implement in 2020. We want everybody's involvement in that. If you're passionate about something, if you want to be involved in this organization, it's time to get on board. I think we've got a June meeting, June 10th to 12th, so far in an undetermined location, but that will come out. If you can mark that on your calendars to attend and be part of. Another way to join this place is to help design the strategic plan. We've got the talent and expertise and the network to take this organization to the next level. My ear and door are always open. Shoot me a text. Give me a text. I don't always answer my phone. I want to thank again Greg and the entire leadership of this organization, past and current. We have a great team. And I want to recognize the staff. And excuse me for making noise there. If you're in the room, including Dante and Rachel and Sharon and Brittany, can you stand up for a second and just make sure we acknowledge you? We've got Crit. Whoop, whoop. There are more. Hold a second. I think Emily left. Kim is not here. Chris, are you in the room? Jackie? And Jenny, of course, Jenny. Thank you all. Let's give them another round of applause. With that, I'm going to step down. We're going to take a break for a few minutes. We'll be back here at 1:45 for the keynote speaker. Thank you.